Assalamu alaikum. I'm Dr. Sadia. Today we'll discuss the anatomy of the pituitary gland and the pineal gland. So the objectives are describe the position of the pituitary gland. So we will discuss what is the actual position of the pituitary gland. List the structures related to the pituitary gland, which structures are related to the pituitary gland, and this differentiate between the lobes of the gland, what is anterior pituitary, what is the posterior pituitary, and how these are different at the functional basis, and describe the blood supply of the pituitary gland and hypophyseal portal system. So this is the pituitary gland. This is an oval structure about 1 centimeter in diameter. It doubles in size during pregnancy. ठीक है? It is actually present in the sila tertica. So this gland actually lies in the hypophyseal fossa of the body of the sphenoid bone. In the middle cranial fossa, we have a sila tertica, or the body of the sphenoid bone. This is a sphenoidal sinus. This is the body of the sphenoid. In this body of sphenoid or the sila tertica, we have an oval structure about 1 centimeter. This is called the pituitary gland. And through the optic chiasma, it is actually through the optic chiasma. This is an optic chiasma, and through the this is an optic chiasma, and through the infundibulum, it is actually connected with the hypothalamus. This is the body of the sphenoid, and this cavity is called sila tertica. These are the anterior clinoid processes. These are the posterior clinoid processes. It is well protected in sila tertica of the body of the sphenoid. So this is the body of the sphenoid in the middle cranial fossa, and these are the lesser wings of the sphenoid, and these are the greater wings of the sphenoid. And this is the body of the sphenoid, which contains the pituitary gland. So this sila tertica actually is present in the middle cranial fossa. So this is anterior cranial fossa, this is the middle cranial fossa, and this is the posterior cranial fossa. These are the lesser wings of the sphenoid. These are the greater wings of sphenoid. This is crista galli. This is the sila tertica, or it is the body of the sphenoid, and this is actually the infundibulum, which connects the pituitary gland to the hypothalamus. These are the two cavernous sinuses, and the structures present in the cavernous sinus. Through the cavernous sinus, this is internal carotid artery, or this is the abducent nerve, sixth cranial nerve, and other structures are third cranial nerve, fourth cranial nerve, and the maxillary nerve and the mandibular nerve. These are present in the lateral wall of the cavernous sinus. Third cranial nerve, fourth cranial nerve, maxillary nerve, and the mandibular nerve branches of the trigeminal. They are present in the lateral wall of the cavernous sinuses, and in the substance of the cavernous sinus, the internal carotid artery and abducent nerve is present. So on the both sides of the sila tertica, the cavernous sinus is present, and pituitary gland also drains into the cavernous sinus. So these are the below the body of the sphenoid. We have two sinuses. These are called sphenoid sinuses, and this is called dorsum celli. The cover, dorsum celli is the fold of dura mater which covers the pituitary glands on its superior surface. A fold of dura mater, the diaphragma celli, covers the pituitary gland, has an opening for passage of infundibulum. So this is an infundibulum. This is a opening for the infundibulum, and in the diaphragma celli, and this infundibulum connects the pituitary gland to the hypothalamus, and connecting the gland to the hypothalamus. See again the pituitary gland and the sila tertica, and this is also hypophyseal fossa or sila tertica for the pituitary gland, and these are blackish color. Behind the pituitary gland we have a sphenoidal sinuses. This is the lateral view of the skull. This is the sagittal view of the skull. This is again superiorly we have a diaphragma celli. So these are the diaphragma celli, folds of the dura mater, having an opening that is called infundibulum, which connects the pituitary gland to the hypothalamus. Inferiorly, we have a sphenoidal layer sinuses. These are the relations of the pituitary gland, and laterally we have two cavernous sinuses. In the lateral wall of the cavernous sinus, we have an oculomotor nerve, we have a trochlear nerve, we have maxillary nerve, we have this ophthalmic division of trigeminal nerve V1. This is V2. We have internal carotid artery and abducens nerve, and posteriorly or inferiorly we have sphenoidal air sinuses, laterally cavernous sinuses, and superiorly we have a diaphragma celli. So this is infundibulum, which connects the pituitary gland. This is anterior pituitary adenohypophysis, and this forms from the Rathke's pouch. And this is from posterior pituitary. This forms from the part of the brain. So this is part of the brain. This is actually comes from the Rathke's pouch, and this is actually infundibulum, and this connects the pituitary gland to the hypothalamus. So this is hypothalamus. This is optic chiasma. This is anterior pituitary, this is posterior pituitary. Anterior pituitary adenohypophysis actually divides into the pars anteriors and the intermedius, and pars anteriors is divided into tuberalis and distalis. So this pars anterior divides into the tuberalis and distalis, and this is the posterior pituitary. It is called neurohypophysis, and this is called adenohypophysis. And this is the pituitary stalk, hypothalamo-hypophyseal stalk or infundibulum. This connects the pituitary gland to the hypothalamus. This is optic chiasma. So anterior lobe and adenohypophysis. This is a true gland and secretes releasing and inhibitory hormones, which actually influences the another a lot other endocrine glands. Posterior lobe neurohypophysis connected to the hypothalamus to the hypothalamo-hypophyseal tract. So actually the nucleuses of the posterior lobe, supraoptic and paraventricular, is present in the hypothalamus, and the neurons comes downward, and that neuronal terminals have the collection. It contains the collection of hormones like supraoptic contains the ADH, and paraventricular terminals contains the oxytocin. So two important hormones, antidiuretic hormone and oxytocin hormone, actually uh, uh, present. Actually, they are formed by the nuclei of the hypothalamus, and they actually saved in the nerve terminals here in the posterior pituitary. So the posterior pituitary gland hypophysis in adenohypophysis and neurohypophysis, suspended from hypothalamus by a stalk that is called infundibulum. Location and size: it is present in cilia turcica, and the body of the sphenoid bone. It is about 1.3 centimeter in diameter. Anterior hypophysis, adenohypophysis or anterior pituitary gland, arises from the Rathke's pouch, outgrowth of the pharynx, and the neurohypophysis arises from the brain, and it contains the supraoptic and paraventricular nuclear nerve endings. So this is anterior pituitary, this is posterior pituitary. The anterior pituitary is supplied by the superior hypophyseal arteries, and posterior pituitary is supplied by the inferior hypophyseal arteries. Branches of these are all branches of the internal carotid artery, and veins, hypophyseal veins. So these are the hypophyseal veins which drains into the cavernous sinuses. So this is superior hypophyseal artery, and this is the inferior hypophyseal artery. Inferior hypophyseal artery, this is the superior hypophyseal artery. This is the plexus of hypophyseal veins, which drains into the cavernous sinuses. So inferior hypophyseal supplies the posterior lobe or of the pituitary gland, यानी neurohypophysis. Superior hypophyseal arteries जो है that supplies to the infundibulum and forms a capillary network. Then this capillary network, for which the vessels pass downward and form sinusoids, collection of veins. They carry the hormones from the hypothalamus to the anterior pituitary gland. Initially, they were arteries, superior hypophyseal artery, then it forms the capillaries, then it forms the collection of veins that actually proceeds from the hypothalamus through the infundibulum and into the anterior pituitary gland. This is called hypothalamo-hypophyseal system or tract. Hypothalamo-hypophyseal portal vessels, hypothalamo-hypophyseal portal tract. It has two kind of names. Acha. Anterior pituitary gland, the hypothalamus hormone releasing an inhibitory factor produced by the hypothalamus. Actually, the releasing and inhibitory factors are released by the hypothalamus by the by the hypophyseal portal system of vessels to reach the anterior lobe of the pituitary gland. So the hypothalamus is actually which is actually controlling the pituitary gland by releasing the releasing an inhibitory hormones which are taken by the hypothalamo-hypophyseal system to the anterior pituitary gland. So anterior pituitary connected to the hypothalamus by the hypothalamo-anterior pituitary portal vessels, and the anterior pituitary produces the six hormones like prolactin, growth hormone, thyroid stimulating hormone, adrenocorticotropic hormone, follicle stimulating hormone, and luteinizing hormone. So these hormones are released by the anterior pituitary, and these are under the influence of these hormones which are released by the hypothalamus, like gonadotropin releasing hormone, which is actually formed in the hypothalamus, and actually it is from the hypothalamus it sends into the anterior pituitary, which causes the release of follicle stimulating hormone and the luteinizing hormone. So gonadotropin releasing hormone causes the release of follicle stimulating hormone and luteinizing hormone from the anterior pituitary. Thyrotropin releasing hormone, which is the hormone of hypothalamus, it causes the release of thyroid stimulating hormone from the anterior pituitary, that is thyrotropin. And corticotropin releasing hormone causes the release of adrenocorticotropic hormone from the adrenal gland. The prolactin releasing hormone and prolactin inhibitory hormone causes the release of or inhibition of the prolactin. Growth hormone releasing hormone causes the release of growth hormone, or somatostatin causes the inhibition of the release of growth hormone. So these releasing and inhibitory hormones, which actually coming from the hypothalamus, has influence on the anterior pituitary and causes the release of these hormones from the anterior pituitary. So, increased secretion of the growth hormone causes the giantism in the male or female. Giantism in children, skeletal growth may grow up to 8 feet tall and 300 pounds, more than 300 pounds, the weight of the patient. So Alam Channa and other taller persons have increased quantity of the growth hormone. They have enlarged feet, acromegaly. They have some symptoms of acromegaly. Their acral parts are enlarged, like feet and hands. They are enlarged in size. They have a thickening of the bones. Their chin they have a prolongated chin, that is called prognathism. They have hypertension. They have increased weight gain. They have episodes of headache. They have visual disturbances. Those who have increased growth hormone suffers from these kind of problems like diabetes mellitus, enlargement of the heart and the liver. These patients who have increased quantity of growth hormone, they actually die in a very early age, 15, 20, 25. Um, so these are the increased acral parts in those who have increased growth hormone. This is actually prolonged chin. They have a prognathism. This is called prognathism, and this is increased. He is increased due to the increased growth hormone, and she is dwarf due to the decreased growth hormone or decreased thyroid hormone. So anterior pituitary hypofunction, uh, growth hormone decreased, follicle stimulating luteinizing hormone decreased, prolactin decreased, ACTH decreased, thyroid stimulating hormone decreased, leads to the uh, uh, dwarfism or cretinism in the patient. Thyroid stimulating hormone, the function of the thyroid stimulating hormone to stimulate the secretion of thyroid hormone T3 and T4. And the follicle stimulating and luteinizing hormone important for the function of testes and ovaries. Follicle stimulating hormone in case of females causes the growth of the ovarian follicles and formation of sperm in males, and luteinizing hormone causes the ovulation in female and the formation of corpus luteum. Corpus luteum secretes the progesterone and it actually supports the pregnancy, uh, stimulate the ovarian production of and causes the ovarian production hormones like estrogen and progesterone. Luteinizing hormone in case of male, it stimulates the production of testosterone from the Leydig cells. So this is prolactin. Prolactin stimulates the breast development and lactogenesis. It causes the milk formation in female and may be involved in the development of Leydig cells. Leydig cells are those cells which secrete the testosterone in pre-pubertal males. So prolactin helps in the formation of Leydig cells formation in pre-pubertal males, and later on these cells will secrete the testosterone at the time of puberty. And immunomodulatory effect stimulates the T cells function, so it increases the immunity, and prolactin receptors are also present over the thymus. So axons of the supraoptic and paraventricular of the hypothalamus, these nuclei, supraoptic and paraventricular, these are present in the hypothalamus, and their secretion, neurosecretion to posterior lobe of the, they send their secretion to the posterior lobe of the pituitary gland through the hypothalamo-hypophyseal tract. So the supraoptic will release the ADH and paraventricular release the oxytocin hormone. So this is the supraoptic and this is the paraventricular, this is supraoptic, this is paraventricular. The supraoptic will release the antidiuretic hormone and the paraventricular will release the oxytocin. So oxytocin and ADH, what is their function? It produced by the hypothalamus, transported by the hypothalamo-hypophyseal tract to the posterior lobe, is stores there in the posterior pituitary. They just store and releases the hormones. So the nuclei, they are present in the hypothalamus, but the nerve fibers will come downward, and in the nerve terminals the hormone is stored and released when it's needed. So ADH, what is the function of ADH? It works on the target organ like kidney. It increases the water retention, it reduces the urine formation, it also functions as a neurotransmitter over the vessel and causes the constriction of the blood vessels. So it acts as a neurotransmitter, so it causes the water retention and it reduces the urine. And whenever so suppose when it will not work or it will not release by the posterior pituitary, patient suffers the diabetes insipidus and have increased water in the urine. Oxytocin, it actually works in and causes the labor contractions. It produces the it causes a constriction of the lactoferous ducts in the breast and causes the milk ejection. It causes the labor contractions. It causes the lactoferous ducts contractions in the breast and causes the milk ejection. It has a possible role in the sperm transport and emotional bonding. So these hormones, actually growth hormone works on the liver, and actually it also works on the fat and the muscle and the bone. Okay, so it works over the all the metabolisms of the like carbohydrate metabolism, fat metabolism, protein metabolism in the liver, and it also work over the muscle, fat and the bone. And ACTH causes the secretion of adrenocortical hormones from the adrenal gland, and the LHFSH works over the ovaries, causes the follicular maturation and ovulation, and over the testes is causes the formation of Leydig cells and the release of testosterone, and over the thyroid it causes the release of thyroid gland, and over the breast it causes the release or the release of milk from the lactoferous ducts. And prolactin causes the formation of the milk as well. So what is pineal gland? It's a small cone-shaped gland. It projects posteriorly from the posterior end of the roof of the third ventricle of the brain. It it projects posteriorly from the diencephalon. Diencephalon is thalamus of the brain on the two thalami. It is present posteriorly behind the two thalami. So this is a cone-shaped gland. It actually secretes the melatonin and serotonin, and these hormones which are released by the pineal gland, which is on the posterior surface of the diencephalon, or the posterior end of the roof of the third ventricle. Actually, third ventricle is also in the between the thalamus. So it is behind the third ventricle, or behind the diencephalon. It is a cone-shaped small gland. It secretes the melatonin and serotonin, and it actually works over the sleep cycles, and it actually maintains the circadian rhythm of the person. ठीक है, maintains the day and night cycles of the sleep cycles, or circadian. It maintains the circadian rhythm of the patient, and it also influences on the other endocrine glands, uh, like adrenal gland, like pituitary gland, like hypothalamus, like islets of Langerhans, like many other glands. It actually influences, and its function is to inhabit them directly and indirectly. Acha, it is the cells are pinealocytes supported by the glial cells. These pinealocytes secretes the melatonin and the serotonin, which actually works over the sleep sleep cycles and over the circadian rhythm. It is innervated by the postganglionic sympathetic nerve fibers. It influences the activities of pituitary gland, the islets of Langerhans, as I already described, the parathyroid, the adrenals, and the gonads. So it has influence on many other endocrine glands. The actions mainly inhibitory, either directly, either indirectly, production of the hormones, or indirectly inhibit the secretion of releasing hormones of hypothalamus. So this is a very small gland behind the diencephalon, or behind the third ventricle, and this secretes the melatonin and serotonin, works over the sleep cycles and over the circadian rhythm. By this, it actually influences the hypothalamus, pituitary gland, islets of Langerhans, adrenal glands, testes, gonads, और जो है आपका parathyroids. It has a negative influence on all other endocrine glands, and it causes the inhibition directly and indirectly, and indirectly it inhibits the secretion of releasing factors by the hypothalamus. So this is a diencephalon thalamus, and behind that, this is a oval cone-shaped gland is present. This is called pineal gland. This is hypothalamus. So it has influence on hypothalamus, on pituitary gland, and other hormones like gonads, like islets of Langerhans, like parathyroid gland. So this is again the thalamus, the pineal gland. So thank you so much.